Hey you guys, I got a 426 wedge on my dyno. Be careful because we don't know this engine, we didn't build it. So be careful something goes loose, okay? I'm ready to get it started. Well, welcome everybody back to my shop here in Nick's Garage. Here we are back in the dining room with another engine just came in a few weeks ago. A client went out and bought it for his, I believe it's a 1963 Savoy. This is a 426 wedge, 1963.
Before Chrysler released the famous 426 Hemi in 1964, there was this 426 wedge, named for its wedge-shaped combustion chambers, and not to be confused with the Max Wedge racing engine and the 426 Street Wedge that was offered in 64 and 65.
Yeah, you know what? They're RB race block motors, Mopar, but I've never had a 426 wedge on my dynamometer. I believe, if I can remember correctly, after so many years, I believe this is the first one. So my client wanted something simple. So he went out, he wanted to buy a big block. So he found this 426 wedge. He brought it to me and asked me, Nick, you know what, just look it over and just put on the dynamometer. I want to see what I bought. And at the same time, while it was over here, I got suspicious that this engine was something was bugging me, was not correct. And I noticed the oil pan was kind of had a few dents here and there. And I told the guy, maybe we should take off the pan and take a look. And he says, you know what, Nick, do your thing, look at it and tell me what you find and give me a call. So Vasily and I had put it on the engine stand, turned it upside down, and we removed the oil pan. Yeah, you know, we could see there was a lot of humidity in the engine, no oil, and we just said, you know what, everything looked good, the bearings looked good, so we put everything back. And what I realized when I had the oil pan off, he had a timing gear set, not a timing chain, a timing gear set. So I called my client and I asked him, what's with the timing gear to drive the camshaft? He goes, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know, I'm gonna take it off and see what we got. He says, Nick, take it out and take a look, see what's going on. So I took off the timing chain cover and I realized there was a timing gears right here. This is not a timing chain. And I was wondering, what is this all about? He bought a used engine. They told him it's been rebuilt, but they didn't tell him anything about what he had. For example, if you look at the front of the engine right here, you know that the crank standing in front of the motor turns clockwise. So when this turns clockwise, look what happens to the camshaft. It turns counterclockwise. So you figured if the cam turns counterclockwise, there's something going on here. Then you said if the cam turns clockwise, is it the same firing motor? I don't think so. Maybe there was a purpose for maybe a marine engine to turn the opposite direction for the propeller or something. I'm not so sure. Of all the years I've been working on mopars, I never seen this, and it's a reverse of everything else. So I told my client, you know what, this is confusion. I'm gonna get you another cam, 16 new lifters, get a regular timing chain, another gear drive, and of course, the camshaft. So like I was telling you earlier, when you turn these gears, it turns the opposite way, the cam. And on a normal engine, again, when this turns clockwise, so does the cam. Look at this, it's turning clockwise, which you get a normal driven oil pump drive. And then for that reason, that oil pump drive will turn counterclockwise to the distributor firing motor and also the oil pump to work. And if you take a good look at the cam, even the gear is the opposite direction. Here's the one that's reverse, and this is a normal BRB engine. Check out the patterns. if you take a good close look, everything is the opposite. So there you have it. For some reason, I don't know why this was like that. And the guy who sold him the engine to my client never said anything like this. So the guy would have maybe put the distributor in, maybe it wouldn't have started, the firing on is off. So what we did is we replaced the cam, lifters, timing chain, and of course the oil pump drive. And now we have a normal setup. We had the engine primed, we had 75 pounds of oil pressure, and everything looked good after that. So right now, I'm gonna get Vasily to install the distributor, and let's get it fired up, break in the cam, and see how it goes. And after all, he bought this engine as a rebuild. You know what? It doesn't look like a rebuild to me. There was a lot of used parts in there, but it doesn't matter. It's like my client said, get it together, Nick, put in a regular timing chain, and get it going, and see how it goes. Now, is this engine gonna run? I've never taken out the cylinder heads. Is the rear seal not gonna leak? I don't know. We just put fresh oil. We're gonna put the ignition distributor on right now with the wires. Let's get it going with my carburetor. We don't have a carburetor yet for my customer, but let's get it started with my 750 just to see how it goes. And by the way, a 426 wedge is a raised block just like a 440. So since my client didn't have a good intake manifold, he brought this 440 intake, which fits from a 1970, which is an RB block also. We had it bolted on, and it's gonna run, so we left it on here. And now, just before we put the distributor in, Vasily has set it up and we're ready to get it started. So just before you put a distributor in, first thing you gotta do is you have the first spark plug out in cylinder number 1, you find your compression stroke, you put it at top dead center, you line up your mark at the 0 mark, and before we did all that, we were making sure that the piston was top dead center when this lines up at the 0 mark, but sometimes the damper could move off, because this damper doesn't look like the best shape there is. I'm gonna tell my customer to find one in the future, but in the meantime, it is correctly at top dead center. And also, when you put the oil pump drive, it's gonna run parallel to the camshaft at the slot where the distributor goes, like so. And then when you put the distributor in, like it comes from the factory, at the 5 o'clock position is your cylinder number 1. And then you do your firing order counterclockwise on the big block. So he's gonna come in right now, put in the distributor, cap, wiring, advance it a bit, and let's get it started. Okay, so we got Vasily setting up the ignition so we get it fired up. In the meantime, I'll turn on my computer and put in the specifications we need for this 426 wedge. I do not know what kind of horsepower this engine is supposed to do. It's got a late model 906 casting cylinder heads, which are not originally to a 63 wedge. It's got a 440 intake manifold 1970, so it's got mixed up parts. I don't know what kind of pistons they are. It doesn't matter. All my customer wants to know is get it running, see how it runs. So, you know, we had one issue with the timing chain, so we had that fixed, replaced the camshaft. And now let's get it started, break in the cam, and see how it goes. And if everything goes well, let's see what kind of horsepower it's gonna make.
Nick loves working in the dyno room, especially with a piece of Mopar history. But he'd feel a lot more confident if he'd been the one to rebuild this 426 wedge.
No, you know what? I don't have no confidence in, because a lot of these engines, I don't know who kind of people put these together. Do they have any knowledge what's going on, or do they have any scrap pieces that are doing anything at their home or shop, just slapped it together, make it look like one beautiful piece, and then sell it off to any client or anybody. And then somebody comes along, like some of my customers, they go buy something and they have confidence in someone they buy it from, and then the next thing you know is they come here, I take a quick look, there's something I don't like, it looks suspicious, we take a few pieces off, and then voila, this is what we find, surprises. These guys that build these engines, I don't know who they are. You know, they just sell them. You know, I was telling a lot of people, a guy who builds an engine like myself, and it's good to have an engine, when built by somebody, put it on a dynamometer, see how it goes, check and see if I have any vibrations, oil leaks, water leaks. noises from the engine, valve flash, check the oil pressure, and then, you know, you pay for it, then you take it home. Of course, there's no guarantees in many cases because, you know, there's a lot of pieces put together, some pieces are machined outside. Your job as an engine builder is supposed to make sure all the clearances are correct. You put it together, everything's torqued down right, the clearance is good, and then from there you take it and you run it on the dynamometer like I do myself here. I'm going to start at 2,500 RPM and we're going to go up to 4,000 RPM. What's the horsepower in this motor? I don't know. What's the torque? Peak horsepower, what RPM? I don't know. We're all going to find out by running it on the dynamometer and then we're going to see from there. We're going to start her up, keep it around 2,000 RPM for 20 minutes to break in the cam. And also he's going to check the timing because I want it roughly around 30 degrees or so during break-in. And we're just about to get started.
The old 1963 engine has a crankshaft that protrudes a little further than in later years. So the guys had to use a few spacers to mate it up to the dyno.
We had to do some modifications to the dyno. We had to space it out because on this crank, I guess it's the year 63.
It's an old design crankshaft that goes further out.
Exactly. So the crank brings it more out, so we weren't able to fit on the dyno. So I had to take out the adapter plate, usually that for big blocks, for Chrysler generally, and add some spacers washers here. I don't know if you can see it. So I can bring it out so I make it work. Also, you also have to space the starter.
Be careful because we don't know this engine, we didn't build it. So be careful, something goes loose, okay? I'm ready to get it started. Here we go. Water's on. Vasily, how about the battery charger? Perfect. Okay, we're good. Okay, be careful, eh?
Yeah.
Let's make sure nothing goes loose. Okay, ready? Here we go. There we go. So we've got it at 2,400 RPM, 72 pounds. And you see, I've taught Vasily how to get this thing started for a shot. There you go. Now let's see if everything goes well because this is an engine we did not build, so let's see how it goes. Okay, let's take a look. Is good. Water temperature is 167 Fahrenheit. Air fuel ratio is kind of rich, so I'm not worried about that right now. We're gonna see when we get it running. I like to disturb it once in a while when I break in the cam. I bring it at 22, 23, 2400 RPM, bring it down to 2000. I call it disturbing it a bit, you know, like shake it. That's only for 20 minutes anyways.
During the warm-up and break-in, Nick and Vasily are looking and listening for telltale noises, vibrations, or leaks.
We'll just give it a few more minutes. We got a slight oil leak on the valve cover on that side. I believe the bolts are too long for the valve cover. We're just gonna add a few washes because I believe the client wants to replace the valve covers. In the meantime, I'm just using it here for dyno testing. I see the oil pressure is going to be low when it goes down. Watch. I hear that noise. I don't like that noise. It's in the bell housing or in the crankshaft?
Not sure. I don't think it's in the bell housing because it was good before. It just slowed up. I know it just came on.
Let me take a look. We brought the idle down to 900 or so RPM, and check out the oil pressure. It's in the red. No good. Why is it losing oil pressure? I do not know. Vasily, the oil pressure is just under 20 pounds on idle at 900 RPM, hot. So now there's a lot of excessive clearances in the bearings or something, I don't know. But what we're gonna do is take out the spring, add a washer to see if we can bring up the pressure. We had 75 pounds when we primed it, so you know what? Let's take off the spring and we'll add some shims on it, and hopefully we get it above 35 pounds of pressure on idle, then we'll be good. I want to bring the oil pressure to a safe level, and then we're going to proceed with our testing. And there's a little noise in the balancing area because I'm sure with the spacing we did, it's not 100% perfect, but I feel no vibrations. It looks pretty good. So what we're going to do is we just finished breaking in the cam. I think it's good enough right now. The cam, the rockers are nice and quiet. So we're going to increase the oil pressure with the spring like Vasily is going to do right now. If you guys want to see how it's done on a big block Mopar, this is how it's done.
Sometimes there's different colors, but now we're just gonna add the washer, and it should bring up the pressure a bit.
You see that? You know what? I'm going to give you a couple of shims. Where's that cup? I'm going to hold the spring. I'm going to show you what we do in this case. What we're going to do is we're going to add some washers with this kit right here. As you can see, Vasily's going to have a few washers in the cup to shorten the spring to give us more pressure, like so. Okay, so what we're going to do right now, we know the on a hot idle 900 or so RPM, we have under 20 PSI. Vasily just added 2 little washers to increase the pressure. So we're gonna get it running again. Now that it's nice and hot, we got 10W30 motor oil in it with zinc to break it in. So I'm just curious to see if this pump is worn out or not. I'm not sure. Like I said, it came with the motor. All we did was prime it. So now Vasily increased the pressure. Let's see how much we get to see if it's safe enough to do any further testing. Oil pressure is very important. It's just like, that's what keeps the engine running and keeps everything lubricated. It's like our heartbeat. Our heart pumps the blood in our vessels all over our body to keep us going. Same thing with an engine. If you have low blood pressure, too high pressure, it's no good. Just like an engine. An engine has to be at a certain temperature. It's got to have a certain oil pressure, or like a blood pressure in a human being, a human temperature. So an engine has to work like a human body. So if this works correctly, just like your human body, then everything's as good as well. I know it's the holidays. I know you guys want to be with your families, your beloved ones, but with this pandemic going on and the whole world's in the red zone, we're hoping that we put this video up for you guys to watch during your holidays. So stay tuned and enjoy it, and let's see how it goes. Let's see if this one's gonna hold. Put the timing light on. Okay, Vasily, let's set the timing at full advance, 33 degrees at full throttle, well, not full throttle. Okay, here you go. Set this up, I'll start her up. And at the same time, I'm gonna check the oil pressure, idle, hot. Here we go. Hold on, stand by. Okay, we're back at 900. Here's the oil pressure. We're back on normal so far. Let's see how it goes. Hold on. I want to just check the oil pressure, Vasily. So far, so good. I'm hoping to get it at 35 pounds. But let's get it hot and see how it goes. Lock it there, lock it there. We're gonna try it there. Seems like it's backfiring for some reason. Okay. Here we go. Okay, let's We're just gonna make a small test from 2,500 RPM till 4,000. Vasily, you ready? Here goes. Here goes. There's our pressure to 800, 700. Here we go. I only took it to 4,000. Check for noises, Vasily, check for noises. Not much of a power. Good. Okay, oil pressure is good at 68 pounds at that 4,000 RPM. Oh yeah, 278 horsepower at 4,000. We got to bring it up. Okay, we're gonna go to, let's go to 5,000. It had a little backfire, but doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go through, let's go to see if we can make it a 5,000 RPM right now. Here we go. I'm gonna go to 5 grand. Looks like there was no vibration, it went pretty smooth, eh? Check the oil pressure, buddy. Look at this now, Vasily. There's the oil pressure, see it? About 850, 27 pounds. It's gonna be hot, idle. Okay, let's go to 5,000, here we go. See the backfire? Everything's good? Okay, here we doing now. Wow, doesn't look impressive at all. Wow, check this out. What we got was like what, 287, 289? 291 horsepower at 4,400 RPM. But then again, you know, you guys, we don't know what kind of pistons he's got in there. It's got a stock cam. It's got 906 castings. The block is not decked. You know, we don't know what we have. But like, you know, my customer's not looking for power. He just wants to know what kind of power he has and see if this motor holds together. So our goal is to tune it, check for vibrations, oil leaks, water leaks, any noises, and that's it. So we'll make a few more tests until my client comes in tomorrow. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna check it out all over to see how it goes. You know what we're gonna do? Do me a favor. Take out one spark plug. Take out one spark, make a compression test, just one. Just take out one spark plug, just to make a compression test. I want to know if I'm going to back up the timing. Go ahead. Keep going. We're not going to make power with this motor. We got about 130 psi cylinder pressure. A Honda Civic has more than that. Anyways, there you go. I just checked one cylinder. I'm sure the rest are the same. I don't know what the customer wants to do. But in the meantime, we're just under 300 horsepower. It's a cruiser. I think it'll do the job just fine. We'll just make one more test back to back before I call my client in. And you know what, Vasily, we're gonna advance the timing just a bit. What do you think? I'm gonna advance it 2 degrees. I'm not going to put a timing light on it. I know I'm gonna guess it. I think I got it. I guessed at about 2 to 3 degrees more advanced. I'm probably around 37 right now. Anyways, let's make another test. Vasily, let's check out on the oil pressure on idle. Let it stabilize for a while. Just want to make sure it stays above 30 pounds of oil pressure. Let it warm up a bit. It's holding over 30 pounds, 950 RPM. How was the motor? Is it quiet?
Yeah, it was quiet. Yeah.
It's quiet, yeah? I'm going to make one more test, okay? We got 290, we have 291 HP. Can we hit 300? I don't know. I advanced the time, it's about 2 or 3 degrees. Let's try it again and see what we get. Here we go. Here we go. All right, clear, right? It was cracking up there. Wow. I'm gonna back it up. Give me a few minutes. Let me back it up. No, nothing new here. Okay, we gained up to 293, so the timing was in the right direction, I'm sure. Oil pressure is good. But why is it cracking up? Why is it cracking up? Did you see it? It was cracking up.
Yeah, you got some misfires in there.
And the air fuel ratio is 13:1. Oh, we're good. 13:1, 13 flat. We're good. We're good. Air fuel ratio is good. So why is it cracking up? Maybe the wires are no good. Could it be the coil wire? Why did it crack up?
We always use a coil wire.
I know, I know.
Was it cracked up before? Was it cracking up before?
No, I don't think so. You know what? These are his wires. I wouldn't trust him. Well, you know what, Vasily? One thing. Here. Hold on. You know, these are the wires that came with the motor. I don't know if they're... I'm going to change the wires. These are the wires that came with the engine. Take them off. I'm going to give you another set of wiring. Be careful. I don't know where they came from. Does not matter. You know what? They've got a couple spark plugs. I want to see the color of the spark plugs. Man, you want to check the wiring for me? Yes, they look practically new.
They're good things. It's just a lot of resistance in them.
Yeah, I have another set right here. I've used these before, they worked for me. Vasily, you want to try these? Okay, let's see how it goes. I'm just trying it out. Let's see, I just want to make sure it doesn't crack up anymore. Check the idle, the oil pressure. Okay, water's on. Okay, here we go. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, we're at 295. Head idle. I want to bring the RPM down. Okay, so we're at 295 right now. 295, can we get to 300? Wow, check it out. Okay, let's do our best to get 300. I don't know what we're gonna do, we're gonna cool it down. We got 295 at 4,600 RPM. We know this is not a high revving engine. I believe the maximum horsepower on a 426 Wedge was under 5,000 RPM. So here we are at 4,600. I don't have the books on it, but I'm gonna cool it down. We'll make a test. We're gonna run the water cooler just to see if we can hit 300. But anyways, the oil pressure's holding. We got no oil leaks. Vibrations, none whatsoever. No water leaks. You got valve train noises? No.
No, it's quiet.
So far so good. We don't have much horsepower, but then again, the guy didn't buy it for horsepower. He just wants to see this engine run. So far it looks good. We're just gonna make one more test. We're gonna cool down the water, keep it cooler, put the fans on. I just want to see if I can hit the 300 mark. We're stuck at 295. Too much. Yeah, we're gonna back it up. Sounds good. We went to 31 degrees. 31. 3-1. Let's go. 31. Let's go. It was about 36, but you heard it pinging, eh? But then yeah, let's try it anyways. And I got petrol Canon 94 octane. There we go. Hey, we did it. We did it. Ha! We did it right there. We did it. Right on the money. 300. We did it. All right. Yeah, we had too much advanced timing at 36, 37. It was way too much. Look, Vasily. Yes. Haha, we did it. At least, you know, I don't want to tell the customer 295. I want to tell them 300. We have it at 31 degrees. We hit the 300 mark. So you know what? I'll leave it as is. See what the customer wants to do. Everything went smooth. We got no major oil leaks except for the valve covers maybe we'll just put a new set of valve cover gaskets because we kept using the same gaskets on the valve cover. But besides that, with 125 cylinder pressure, we've got full throttle. Timing is at 31 degrees with 94 octane. We got exactly 301 horsepower. I believe again, we did it at 4,500 RPM. Which is 301 horsepower at 4,500 RPM, and maximum torque is 391 at 3,700 RPM. So there you have it. All I can say is the motor went well. You know what, I'm very surprised to make 300 horsepower with 125 cylinder pressure. That's pretty cool. So there you have it. Everything went well, nothing broke. We have no major leaks, no vibrations. We're good. So you guys, I want to enjoy your holidays and a Happy New Year, and thanks for watching. And you guys, if you look down below the video, we have a whole bunch of merchandise that you guys can buy. So whatever you like, buy it, love it, wear it, and enjoy it. And help spread the word of Nick's Garage. And if you have some time, check out our Patreon page. We have extra content and you guys can watch it and take it from there. And we'll see you next time.